Great. Welcome, Commissioner Freehling.
Thank you. How are you today?
I'm well. So
Good.
I do think that we can just continue the conversation that Francella started. Like Francella mentioned, I'm Brittany Ray Gregory, and I'm the Communications Director here at Next Century Cities. But without further ado, we'll have you speak, Commissioner Freehling.
Wonderful. I would like to share my screen if I may. It's a pleasure to be here with all of you today. And I have just a brief PowerPoint here. I sort of feel a little bit like Dorothy in the Land of Oz. 3 years ago, I would have never imagined that I would be sitting here in front of all of you sharing the journey that Berrien County has been on as it relates to broadband. When we began the discussion on broadband in late 2018, I worked to convince my colleagues and stakeholders throughout the county that access to broadband was not a luxury, but should be considered a necessity, looked at as though it was a fourth utility. I personally live the digital divide every day. As a farmer and a mother of two school-age children, I struggle to be competitive and to have reliable internet access for precision ag applications and for my daughters to complete their schoolwork requirements. And yet I live in a census tract that is reported as served in the FCC maps based on Form 477. I can even look outside my kitchen window and see a distribution line and yet cannot get access to it. As a county, I knew we had to do better. Then the pandemic hit and the whole world stopped. Now we have experienced and realized the critical part that broadband plays in everyday life, and we are in the fourth industrial revolution. I have served as a county commissioner for the last 6 years. My goal was just to make our county a little bit better than when I started. My philosophy has always been that leadership is an action and not about a position. I firmly believe that what gets measured gets done. And many times on this quest, I have heard words like dead end, fail, and no. It can be hard to hear words like those time after time. And yet, I once read that successful people suffer from cognitive dissonance, the state of having inconsistent thoughts, beliefs, and attitudes, especially as related to behavioral decisions and attitude change. Leaders have to believe that they will succeed and convince others to follow. So where is Berrien County, Michigan, anyhow? We are a gateway community to the state of Michigan and an hour and a half away from Chicago, Illinois. We border Indiana and are located in the southwestern corner along Lake Michigan. Our population is around 155,000. And our economic trinity is agriculture, with 48% of its land use dedicated to farm commodities. We are the #1 county in the state of Michigan for direct-to-consumer marketing. The other component of our trinity is tourism, being coined the Riviera of the Midwest and highlighted in several magazines as a must-visit destination. The last prong of the trinity is industry. Berrien County, Michigan is home to the headquarters of Whirlpool, and one of our towns, Baroda, is also known as the tool and die capital of the world per capita. So let me share with you a little bit of what Berrien County has been doing the last 3 years as it relates to broadband. In April of 2019, the Board of Commissioners passed a resolution prioritizing broadband and connectivity for all of Berrien County. We included broadband infrastructure as our strategic objectives, and the Board of Commissioners began to work with its regional planning organization, Southwestern Michigan Planning Commission, to start researching and understanding the lay of the land as it related to broadband access within Berrien County. The Regional Planning Commission was well suited for this partnership as they had been doing some investigative research in 2009 while working with Connected Michigan, which is now Connected Nation Michigan. Through the many experts and connections that Southwest Michigan Planning Commission made, the Board of Commissioners contracted with Merit Network, a not-for-profit organization based in the state of Michigan, created in 1966, which operates the longest-running regional computer network in the United States. They helped us collect data needed to move forward with our broadband objective, and in February of 2021, pushed out a countywide survey to seek the input needed. That information was set out in the form of press releases, and the survey was made available on our county website, as well as other means of communication. Following that data collection, we discovered that there was need for further mapping and services. So the Board of Commissioners authorized a contract, again with the Southwest Michigan Regional Planning Commission, for the purpose of taking the broadband data that was collected and converted, and they turned it into a GIS story map presentation. That material can actually be found here within the PowerPoint presentation, in the chat box, and also on our website at berriencounty.org. The slides that you're looking at are the results of our survey with Merit Network's Moonshot program. We discovered that 65% of our households that participated in the survey did not have broadband. Only 13 households actually met the threshold of the 120 speeds that have been determined in recent conversations with the FCC. We also had a satisfaction component of the survey and discovered that of the 40% of households within Berrien County, 40% of those had K through 12 students, and 61.5% of those 40% households did not have broadband access. That's 14,500 homes that we have within Berrien County. So we knew we needed to do better. This slide that you're looking at is a side-by-side comparison of our survey results in comparison to the FCC's maps as reported through Form 477. You can see the stark difference. So what are we doing to close that delta? Berrien County has been communicating regularly with our state and federal legislators. We regularly have meetings with the group called BCBIT, which stands for Berrien County Broadband Internet Task Force. We talk with our ISPs. We ask them to give us regular updates on their status for build-outs as it relates to federal and state funding like CAF, RDOF, and Connecting Michigan Communities. Most recently, Berrien County announced the allocation of $6 million of the $30 million that we received through the American Rescue Plan funds to be used as a sub-grant match for local municipalities and other organizations wishing to invest in broadband in underserved and unserved areas within our county. The federal government guidelines allow Berrien County to sub-grant a portion of our allocation to these entities for purposes of deploying the broadband. In January of 2022, the board passed a resolution approving the application method, and you can see the example of that application here on the screen. You can also find it on our website that I referenced earlier. So with all these fast-moving parts and different funding opportunities for broadband and pressing deadlines like ARPA, we have to do our best to continue to network, to communicate, and connect all the pieces that build on the synergy. And as leaders, we need to remember that we are called to be positive force multipliers. This is a time to be bold, to make great strides, to find common ground through understanding and compromise, and to bridge the digital divide once and for all. So remember, when you hear the word fail, it stands for first attempt in learning, N stands for effort never dies, and no is next opportunity. Remember, next is now. If you have any questions, feel free to find that information in the PowerPoint presentation. At this time, I'll turn it back over.